I Happy Republic Day to all of you, and warm welcome to this live interaction, live from Dubai at the Arab Health Congress, one of the largest congresses of healthcare globally. And I have the pleasure of introducing Mudit Danwade, the CEO and founder, inventor of Dozee, and also Dr. Ruchit Shah, senior consultant interventional cardiologist from Mumbai, India. And Mudit, it's a great occasion, I must say. This not just this day, but then to bring Dozee, bring us to the world arena. What are your
So,
thoughts?
thanks a lot, Anshuman. I think you did introduce yourself, as in I will do that honors first. So, Anshuman brings tons of healthcare experience. He has been working in this field for over 3 decades now in cardiac, right, and making sure cardiac reaches in every nook and corner. And he is working with us, looking after the sales and marketing at Dozee. Uh, as Anshuman was saying, Arab Health is one of the marquee events on a global health stage. Today is a very special day for all of us Indians. Right? India adopted its constitution today, the constitution that guarantees equal rights and opportunities to all its citizens. And it's a marquee moment, right? And it is even more important for all of us Dozians because we believe that quality healthcare is another something that should be accessible to everyone, right? And all of that is something that brings all of us together, and we are working every day very hard to realize that dream. And today marks a day when Dozee is going global, and we are starting from Dubai, which is the gateway of the world trade from centuries, right? Dubai has played that role, and therefore, we have chosen this very place to mark that global presence of Dozee. And we are all feeling very proud because it is made in India product now going global. All across, we have recently seen right from UPI to COVID, India has shown that how using indigenous technologies, it is really possible to take care very well of a population, massive population of 1.3 billion. And I think with Dozee, we believe with this technology we have something like that, which can upgrade any bed and bring continuous monitoring each and every nook and corner of the country. And why just restricted to India, right? As in when we have opportunity, India doesn't just innovate for her own. India, when it innovates, it's for world, and that this is the beginning of that. And looking forward to it.
Great, Mudit. It's so inspiring. Dr. Ruchit, as Mudit said, this is a very proud moment for us to step out into the global arena. You can see as an Indian representative, we have made a mark in this grand setting. As a clinician, how do you look at this as an Indian company, as an Indian technology, getting space and getting noticed in such a world space?
Well, it's a very proud moment on Republic Day that we as Indians are on this global platform. I proudly say this is made in India and made for the world. Well, as a clinician, when we consider patients, I think Dozee has simplified things a lot. In clinical practice, we used to have nurses recording the pulse, blood pressure, respiratory rate, oxygen saturation, and recording it on paper. But with this newer technology, I think we have gone a step further by reducing manpower and going more into the technology domain. With this kind of newer technology, I'm sure India, which is the world's diabetes and the heart disease capital, is likely to benefit. We all know in a country like India, the doctor-patient ratio is skewed. Hence, there are very few doctors and nurses as compared to the patients. The only way we can bridge this huge gap is with cutting-edge technology. And I'm sure with the advent of this newer technology, with contactless monitoring, which Dozee supports, we would be able to achieve this goal not only in India but also all over the world.
Thank you, Dr. Ruchit. That was very encouraging. Modi, let me ask this to you because you and Laura have been the inventors of this technology, like first ever contactless remote patient monitoring. How did you envision this? In the sense, what were the problems that you looked at in terms of, because it was set in India, and as you said, you also considered that sometime we will be like going global. So, what were the exact problems that you wanted to kind of address and solve for the large population?
So, Anshuman, first up, I have to really, reflect upon what Dr. Ruchit said. As an amazing words, very encouraging, and those are the kind of things that we want to hear as entrepreneurs. That what we are trying to do is actually helping clinicians provide that care. Coming quickly to your question, right? What really made us do something like this? As Dr. Ruchit said, right? We just are even right now also we are in the middle of the pandemic, one of the worst pandemic ever to hit the planet, right? And we are still not completely out of it. It really exposed how frail really our infrastructure is, how skewed our provider to patient ratio is, and at times when it comes to reaching it to the last mile, right, we are not really ready about it, right? One of the main causes that we actually thought when we started deliberating, right, that what are the gaps, looking at from a non-clinician point of view, and we started talking to quite a lot of people who have worked very deeply in this. We found that one of the basic problem which was there was the complexity of it, right? When things are complex, when things are very sophisticated, two problems arise. One, if you require a lot of technical expertise to actually administer that, right? And again, it becomes very manual in the approach, right? And you are not able to reach masses. That is one. The second problem that arises, and kind of part of the same problem, is the cost really increases. Again, making it really less accessible, right? Each and every one, right? And that really was the dream, right? The real dream is to make quality healthcare really democratized, right? सबके पास होना ही चाहिए basically, right? I really think that. And if we have to really achieve that, right, the way we thought to do that was really simplify, dumb down stuff, right? Why we thought it is always required for a patient to be, wrapped up with cuffs, wires, and electrodes if, health monitoring has to be done. If it is a patient, they require monitoring, right, one way or other. So how currently we saw the infrastructure was like that if they are severe, then they are wrapped around with these wires, cuffs, and it is pretty much restricted only to 5-10% of the beds in ICU. And rest 90%, as Dr. Ruchit said, it is all manual. Nurses are taking the readings manually. They are looking at the pulse oximeter, they are looking at BP, lots of instruments, right? So a nurse is typically spending almost 10 to 15 minutes per patient, right? And in country like India, where nurse to patient ratio is somewhere near 1:40, you can imagine it's a nightmare. We can't reach everywhere, right? And because of that, many times we miss infection, human error happens, fatigue happens, and there is
The patient often are not able to reach to the doctor on time. How does Dozee solve this problem?
so exactly right. So as I was saying, monitoring, right, is one of the basic things, right? Dr. Ruchit, in many of the interactions with him, have picked up very small things, right? Every provider, and I like him to even deliberate on that. When it comes to patient and providers, it's very simple 5 or 6 basic things. Whether the heart rate is normal, whether respiration is normal, where pulse ox is, where the blood pressure is normal. That means that somewhere you are doing well, right? And if required, oxygen saturation, temperature. These 5 parameters pretty much sum up a lot of things, right? And of course, you need higher diagnostics when you want to look the specifics of it. But just to mark someone stable, these are the 5 very basic things. Our idea was simple there, Anshuman, that why can't the bed where every patient is there, right? They are healing over there itself. Why can't the bed itself have that ability and power to access all of these information, right? Why in 21st century also we require a nurse to manually go and check on these things, right? Healthcare comprises of two parts, right? As we put it, it's more human stuff and mundane stuff. While human care can never be replaced by technology, right? The very sense of giving care can never be given by technology. I always believe that. But the mundane stuff like monitoring, data collection, chart preparation, this has to be done by technology, right? And that is the advent of, and that is where we started.
So in a way you are saying any bed, wherever a patient is lying down, Dozee should be the basic need of that bed to like understand the patient's state. And here I will come to Dr. Ruchit. Dr. Ruchit, I understood like the kind of the scale of the problem in terms of and specifically India, how does that pan across? What we are observing also that in India, also globally, like people are living longer, and it is not just how long we live, but it's also I think very critical that how well we live. So quality of life also has become a very critical factor. As a cardiologist, do you see then therefore a good degree of this Dozee or this technology getting expanded to even home care? For example, do you see this? Of course, in the hospital setting, you are there. There is a system in place. But what about patients who are being managed at home?
As a cardiologist, as Mudit rightly pointed out, pulse, blood pressure, respiratory rate, if required, temperature and oxygen, these 5 basic parameters, they are no longer basic. They are called vitals. Vitals means these are the lifelines of any human being. Even when we take rounds in the intensive care unit, we monitor and we treat exactly as per these vitals. These are called vitals because they are life-saving and life-giving. For any patient and any doctor, keeping these vitals as simple as possible is the cornerstone of treatment. If we can achieve this level of simplicity of vital monitoring not only in the ICU but also in the wards, at home, in villages, urban areas, rural areas, may it be all over the world, we have achieved the goal for health for all. And health for all is no longer a luxury, it is a basic human right. Well, as Anshuman rightly pointed out, in what conditions it is going to help us? Cardiovascular conditions, maybe heart attack, heart failure, respiratory conditions like respiratory failure, long-term diseases, old age, kidney failure, and many other chronic illnesses are likely to benefit with this kind of intervention. Intervention means it disrupts what is going on and causes a paradigm shift in the management of the patient. There is a sudden and drastic change. With this kind of a technology which has come in, I foresee that not only in India but all over the world, India is going to lay its footprints for the better management of mankind. Over to you.
Ruchit, you've touched a very important point, and over the last 2-3 days, you would have also observed there are hundreds of technology companies across the globe, getting in cutting edge technologies. Also, a lot of companies and technologies around patient monitoring and then remote patient monitoring, wearables and patches, and of course, contactless Dozee is the only technology globally available as of now. And I'm sure, like Mudit and I, we will be proudly saying this is the best technology. However, I would like to know from a clinician's perspective, like apart from the kind of easiness or simplicity and the ability to adopt, how do you see the clinical accuracy as a factor while in determining which technology you will adopt for your patients?
Well, medical grade technology means accuracy. There cannot be any scope of error in medical grade equipments. Industrial grade equipments can have errors because machines don't die, whereas human life is more precious than machines. Hence, there is a vast difference between industrial grade versus medical grade. And when we come to medical grade accuracy, I feel cutting it down to as simple as possible and giving the maximum refinement to the technology should be the aim and cornerstone. Well, this needs a lot of hard work, which I'm sure the Dozee team has been putting in, which includes research, development, clinical trials on normal human beings, as well as heart, kidney, and respiratory diseases patients. So, with this kind of technology, which the Dozee team is bringing in, I'm sure this is going to be a game changer.
Well, very, very important point, and I'm very intrigued to ask Mudit because he is one of the leading, and I would say, a pioneer in bringing in artificial intelligence in medical technology, especially in patient monitoring, remote patient monitoring. Mudit, how do you see this getting expanded, over the next 2 years or 5 years horizon, like the artificial intelligence, and do you see much more role of this technology into healthcare?
I'll answer that question, but since now the mic is on me, I'll also use this opportunity to ask some of the questions to you also. Since you come with a tons of experience, what Dr. Ruchit was also saying, right? I know, as in I had seen it since I was also had opportunity to actually go around. There's a massive exhibition, more than no human can actually cover all of it. But as I had an opportunity to visit many of the new innovations which are happening with Dr. Ruchit also, and every smallest of signal, if he was looking at closely, right? So that tells us that how closely and how accuracy plays. That is the importance of accuracy for clinicians, right? Finally, they are the ones who are holding patient's life, right? So if they have to trust on any technology, it has to be nothing less than a golden benchmark, right? And that really is what also we vouch for. Coming to AI, right, in healthcare, exactly the question you asked me. See, 21st century is all about how AI has been easifying humans' course, right? That is the general direction, not just in healthcare, but more so everywhere. We have seen that, right? In making predictions, right, from weather predictions to helping us choose the product that we like, whether we like it or not, right? AI has been playing that role, right? In healthcare, as I had touched upon it very briefly. Healthcare is a very interesting subject, right? Healthcare has a big human element in it. For a long time, right? I don't see, or even ever I see that how human element can be coming to technologies and all that, and someone, I won't be comfortable if a robot is doing my surgery per se. I'll always trust Dr. Ruchit more, right?
In the hands of God.
In the hands of doctors who have seen that, done that for so many times, right? AI has a very distinct role and very important role to play, right? Making the mundane stuff, possible, because as he was saying, machines don't die. The second thing that machines don't tire also.
Right.
Machines don't have emotions
No
also.
fatigue.
Right? There is no fatigue. So if a very boring stuff, a very mundane stuff have to be done on a repeated basis, that is what machines are best in, and that is where technology, AI will play a big role, right? And where the second role comes into picture is that we have very less clinicians, very less providers, and the aging population, the population of chronic illness patient is only increasing, catastrophically, right? Uh, so how do we make the provider network that we have multi-fold efficient, right? Making them 10x is what is going to be the aim of technology, right? How one Dr. Ruchit can actually contribute to 10 folds, right? That is what even I see role of technology and role of engineers like me also, right, for that matter. That I do care a lot about healthcare, but unfortunately I am not trained practitioner, right? So I cannot go and help someone, but at least what I can do is I can increase efficiency of Dr. Ruchit. That is what I see my role, and that is the role of AI in this entire.
Truly augments the clinician
Correct.
in a large way, and the beauty of it is that we didn't stop at measuring or looking at the vitals in the most accurate manner as Dr. Ruchit said he would like to have. But I think we have developed also a very intelligent system. Like what we do with the data. Like we are a truly early warning system. You want to expand a little bit on that?
Surely, very important question. See, traditionally, I'll give you, right? So now you have data. So now you can, with Dozee and many other Dozee-like technologies, right? The future is that, every patient's data is starting to come at a very fast pace, at a very high baud rate, as we call it. So there will be a bombardment of data per se, right? Which again can itself create a lot of fatigue. The role of AI, the role of early warning system also comes in the picture. How to prioritize, how to segregate that, how to segregate a true alert from a false alert, right? Kind of removing and then pinpointing at that needle out of that entire haystack is what is how the early warning systems are designed. In Dozee, I can tell you how we do that. We basically not just look at each and every data point using the artificial intelligence. It also flags and monitors the trends. And if the trends are starting to go towards the concerning level, then it escalates it to clinician. Using a very simple method like this alone, we had been able to save more than 2,000 lives by providing information in time to clinicians who can then take an intervention early. And in healthcare, as we know, time is everything. Right? It is all about
The
golden
cardiologist
hour,
always says time is
cardiology.
muscle.
Correct.
Dr. Ruchit, today, it's been a very, very critical point in terms of early warning system. As a clinician, especially as a cardiologist, how do you see this impacting hundreds and thousands of patients? And also touch upon the fact that people outside of India are also watching this, other geographies. How is it replicable? Is this technology or the benefit truly transferable to all people anywhere in the world?
I would first like to come to Mudit's point. When Mudit says machines don't get tired, I would say humans do. And data says that 1/3 of the deaths in the US were due to human errors. And if we can have early warning systems in terms of good clinical grade monitoring as well as early detection systems, we can have algorithms in place. The meaning of this is artificial intelligence. What is artificial intelligence? As Mudit was rightly pointing out, the more the data we get from the patients, the more the system learns and adapts. We set the protocols, we know which protocol is working best, and we improvise on it. Improvising with the help of doctors, patients, engineers, all put together, creating a machine to learn these things, in simple words, is AI or artificial intelligence. As Anshuman asked, what is going to be the impact of this level of care. As I said, one third of the deaths in the US were due to human errors. US being a developed country, other countries of the world who are underdeveloped would be having higher number of deaths. With this kind of intervention, I strongly feel that we can improve on patients' life, longevity, early warning, early detection, timely treatment. In cardiology, we always say that every minute saved is heart muscle saved. So we say time is muscle. Every single minute which is lost in a heart attack, a lot of heart muscle fiber is lost irreversibly. If we can try and save every single minute by early detection, reaching the patient to the hospital on time in the right hands, I feel we can save not thousands of lives but millions of lives. I wish Dozee all the best for their million ICU concept for billions.
Mudit, we have met like hundreds of people here. Especially we interacted with a lot of country representatives, various geographies, and we have been received very positively over these 3 days, and we have a couple of days to go more. Uh, what was our objective in terms of what we want to achieve by participating in this big congress, and what's the way ahead?
So, Anshuman, see, healthcare is a very local subject. Right? In India also, we have healthcare of more than 30 types. Every state having a different sense and flavor of it.
So we have the world inside India.
Exactly, right? So what we have learned is that in a conference like this, in a congress like this, unfortunately, we were missing out on a big collaboration part. When we were interacting with different geographies, what they are doing, and so on. So first objective was, of course, to come to the pace of the world, know our positioning over here, tell the world what we are also doing. Healthcare also requires local presence. So another objective was to find local partners who can help us to set our foot in this geography, in the GCC, Africa, and in other geographies in the world as well. And the third objective was, of course, to interact with more local people, understand their needs, because everyone has different needs, right? Healthcare in India is not exactly healthcare in Dubai, right? We exactly know that how it is distributed, how it works. Somewhere the scales are different, where the costs are different, right? So all of that understanding is very critical, and that was the main objective of coming here. And I think we have gathered a lot of knowledge. It will require, a lot of note taking and exchanges of idea once we go back to India and interact with our folks who can't make it also because of COVID, right? But I'm very happy that many of us could actually make it, including Dr. Ruchit also, who came all the way from India, and we made this up over here, and I think from here it is only going up, and it marks a very important day for all of us. I'm very happy.
Thank you, Mudit. Dr. Ruchit, the concluding remarks, message from this arena, this large congress.
I feel technology is the way to go. We must reduce human errors, and that's where I think all the technology players should come together, not as individuals, but in a way to fight diseases so that we have a more healthy population, living longer, living better. All the best.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ruchit. Mudit, thank you so much. It's been a splendid discussion, very, very much of learning, and I think a lot of insights have come out, not just in terms of the healthcare, how we go from here, but also from the technology as well. And we can only wish ourselves much, much better hope for the future. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, everyone, and Happy Republic. Happy Republic.
Okay, great job.
Very good.